going on with Mark? I mean, our sound guy.
Okay.
Is he not with us anymore?
But he just got his leg cut off.
Oh,
Yeah, he did. He's in serious position.
Pretty severe health problems.
So, do we not have anybody else?
He's not here right now.
I mean, do we have anybody else that can replace?
No. I don't know.
They got another plan in place, but, all right. Anybody got it pulled up, confirm we got sound online now? It is working now,
Okay.
excellent. All right,
Thank you, Brad.
so for those following at home, apologize for the technical difficulties, but I think we're back in business now, so. Go ahead, Carl.
So yes, so our Muncie Teen Internship Program, we're trying to gear up for 2026. We kind of realized some areas where we fell short this summer, and we've made some comments on what we like to do to try to rectify that going forward. With getting started with early planning is one, and then identifying our fiscal body, person or persons, organization 501c3, and then give us an early start on just what we're looking for in terms of our junior leads. So a lot of the problems was kind of right in that area of supervision of our young people. So we want to get a good start on that, good jump. And we're looking forward to having another solid summer program. So it's the last thing I have on my agenda. Anybody got any questions outside of that? Go ahead.
I got one more. The reconstruction of the basketball courts at West Side,
Yes.
is that just a resurface or is that complete?
So, yeah, it's going to be complete tear up, and tear out. You know, as it sits right now, the existing courts, all that holds a lot of water, the way it sits. And so, in order to fix, I think Dave will speak a little more to that in terms of the actual physical part of the surfacing itself. But being that we got the money already invested in the skate park, and we're soon to have some work done in our playground area and the softball diamond, we kind of want to bring everything full circle. And so the basketball courts is our next 2026 project to be done.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions for Carl? All right, thanks, Carl.
All right, thanks.
Next, we have Mr. Jason Donati. So he comes up here, I think, I summarized, I think everybody's got a copy of this agreement. Just Jason, if you just want to give us the bullet points and kind of talk about what we got here.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening, Board. I'm Jason Donetti, Superintendent of Sanitation and Recycling for the Muncie Sanitary District. What we have before you is, I guess, an offer to do an interlocal agreement between the Muncie Sanitary District, the City of Muncie Parks Department, and Muncie Public Works. And the whole concept of the interlocal agreement is to offer that our department, sanitation and recycling, will take over trash and recycling options in all of the parks in the City of Muncie, as well as any pocket parks that are along the Greenway in those types of areas, or basically any assets or inventory that the parks is currently maintaining. So we're offering to take that over. I think that might include the Bewley and Ross Center and Boys and Girls Club. Yeah, and TUI. So very specific facilities that you currently maintain as a Parks Department, but the offer is that we would take those over. We would maintain the toters at those locations. Some of those locations might get dumpsters. We have 3-yard dumpsters that we can set up in an ideal scenario in some of those locations. And then in exchange, we would receive the truck, the 2020 truck. It's a Leach Packer. I think it's 10.5 yards that the Parks Department owns and operates. We would receive that truck in that agreement. And the terms of the agreement are in there. The clauses that would determine if it needed to be terminated are in there. I would defer any of that to your attorney. This is basically a draft that our attorney put together. And so it's my understanding that in order for this interlocal agreement to be entered, our board would have to pass the resolution, which we have the draft here, and the Public Works, Department of Public Works would have to pass a resolution, and then we could enter that agreement. So that's my understanding of it, but I'll defer to Mark or anybody else that might have a better understanding of that. But any questions, thoughts, concerns, suggestions?
I don't have any personally. I think this is a good opportunity for some departments to work together. Certainly takes a load off some of our guys, utilizes a resource better for you guys as well. I think Jason summarized it well, is that we, as a board, we can approve and recommend this, and then it comes before the Board of Works for their final approval. So we're more of a recommendation board from that perspective. Any other questions? Otherwise, I would entertain a motion to approve recommendation.
I make a motion to approve recommendations.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Great,
Jason.
thank you. I was going to add too, Carl had mentioned, because I met with Carl and Misty. So within this agreement too, MSD is still offering the ability for disposal, because currently, the way it works, we cover up to $52,000 worth of disposal a year for the Parks Department. This agreement allows you to still utilize those funds. And after speaking with Misty and Carl, you could utilize that amount for park projects, for storm cleanup, those types of things as well. So it's just a matter of them communicating with me and letting me know if they needed to take something to the dump, and I just okay it through the dump. So you still have that ability to get rid of some of the material you might need to get rid of. And I also told them and assured them that we would help with special projects. An example is Ironman out at the reservoir. I staff Ironman, or at least I have for the last 3 or 4 years, with 2 shifts of my crew helping with recycling and trash and those types of things, and then helping with any other special projects that we could help with. So it's, overall, I think it's a win-win for everybody. So
I don't think that 52,000 disposal had ever been formalized before either, had it? It was kind of just a agreement, and that was the
yeah, it was
standard
more of
set.
an agreement that that our administrations had come up with.
So this formalizes that as well too,
Yeah.
which is good.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time in considering this, and thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
So do I need to initiate a conversation with the president of the Board of Public Works? Would that be the necessary
Probably
next
the
step?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they need anything, let me know and I can work with you on that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we've got the Prairie Creek report.
Good evening, Board, and good evening, everyone. My name is Misty Rains, and I'm the Assistant Superintendent of City of Muncie Parks and Prairie Creek Reservoir. Today, I have several updates for you all. Since I was up here last, a lot has changed as far as our focuses and the things that we have tackled on the property. Since October 31st, the campground is shut down for the season. And since then, a lot of our maintenance team has been focusing on dock removal. At this point in time, we have around 80 of the slips left for the floating piers, or 18 of the floating pier slips left. And we still have several more to tackle with the wooden piers. As of Monday, we were able to get out, I believe it was 33 more of the wooden docks. And that's in addition, I believe, in total, we have removed a little over, I can do the math real quick as well. I did not have the exact number recorded in my report for today, but we have removed over 77 thus far and plan to tackle much more. This has been accomplished with our Prairie Creek utility team, which at this point in time is 5 people, as well as the City of Muncie Parks staff on days that they have been able to assist outside of their obligations. In terms of the ones that we have removed, we have started at the docks nearest to the Sailboat Club because those were steeper, a little bit harder to tackle, and we were able to do that. We have been utilizing our tractor and a piece of equipment that we have referred to as a boom to make a lot of this process a lot easier on the folks helping us out. There's a lot less manpower that needs to be invested with the utilization of this equipment, as well as the pontoon that we have been utilizing to help relocate the floating piers. We do need to make a repair to our boat, the pontoon that we have been using, and it was sent in for repair today. So we will be getting an estimate on the cost that it would take to repair that. We believe it is an issue with the motor. Carl and I have briefly talked this morning about that, so that's put a slight pause in the floating pier removal process and the transport process, but it does not really deter much of our wooden pier activity. So that has been what our utility team has been focusing on for the most part. At this time, the boat launch is closed for the remainder of the year until the beginning of the next recreation season. All of our facilities with restrooms and water outside of our main office have been winterized. That process took place over the span of the last several weeks, including the campground restrooms, the boat launch restrooms, and the beach facilities. In the time since we've chatted last, I know that Carl has mentioned the Indiana Parks and Recreation Conference. It was a 3-day conference spanning from November 11th through the 13th, and it was my first time attending. I came back with lots and lots of information. Some of it I will be emailing to you guys in the next several days. Some of this includes vendors that Carl and I can utilize in the future for future projects. Other areas of funding and grant access, a lot of the education sessions that I attended, as well as Carl and the rest of our staff attended as well, focused on different areas of the park system and management, whether it is from the director's position or maintenance sessions or educations on funding. So that was very beneficial for our team and myself. And I was quite excited to bring back the host of information that I was able to gather. In the next several weeks, docks are still going to be our primary focus as far as what our staff will be tackling. After we get the majority of the removal done, we will have some assistance in making repairs to some of the walkboards and deck boards for next year. In the meantime, too, I've also been looking at procuring training opportunities and meetings with the slower season for the office. We've been going over leases for docks and campsites as well, and we have been collaborating with legal for updates or things that we would like to see in the future for some of the wordage in the rules as well. That is still in progress. We have meetings set up. I've made contact with some of our Muncie law enforcement officers and conservation officers and hope to reach out to several more to talk about law enforcement at Prairie Creek and how we can be supported in the future. That's one of the meetings that I have yet to put a date on, but I've been looking to get a date for. I will be meeting with the Sailboat Club this week and the Coast Guard Auxiliary for future training opportunities for the next recreation season as well. When it comes to boating safety, boating education, as well as vessel inspections, that would be a free service that the Coast Guard would offer, and they would help anybody who would like to have their vessel inspected to make sure that it's up to code, that it is safe, and that they have all the equipment that they would need on their boat. So we're having some of those beginning conversations in order to get that scheduled for next year. I've also reached out to one of the DNR wildlife biologists for District 4 to talk about the lovely geese that we have inhabiting the park. I know that that is something that over time I've gotten some complaints about, and we're trying to figure out how to mitigate that for this upcoming year. We're trying to get a game plan early on that. Outside of that, I've met with members of the Muncie Sanitary District and the Recycling Center to make some adjustments to a lot of our facilities and the amount of waste that we have and some of the materials that we are looking to dispose of, especially with some of the older tires coming off of some of these wooden docks. We're trying to come up with ways that we can dispose of these materials properly and efficiently. Outside of that, I know I've thrown a lot at you all. Do you guys have any questions so far? Okay, I think that sums up the majority of what we have tackled and are looking to tackle in the coming months. If you guys have any questions, please let me know.
I have one.
Yeah.
Good, Jim.
Are there plans to repair the pavement where the dumpsters are?
In the North Shore Campground?
Yes.
Yes, so that is something that we have put a Band-Aid on towards the end of the camping season. We had some millings left over that we utilized and packed in with our tractor. It was a Band-Aid solution with the winter months upcoming. It's not a conversation that I've had directly yet, but our team, we have brainstormed ways to repair that. I think it would be a more in-depth process than what we've done so far. So we've packed millings in and have tried to flatten it. But I don't believe that that area, when it was originally paved, I don't think that it was meant for the dumpsters to be there and for the vehicle that picks it up. I don't think it's able to handle that very well. So I can look into that further. I've had conversations here and there about what we can do to mitigate it. Nothing set in stone yet.
Or possibly relocate them?
Yeah, that would likely be one of the solutions that we could proceed with. There are other locations around that campground that we could place them, but yes, I can look into that further.
As long as we don't create that situation somewhere else.
Yeah, no kidding.
How about security at the bathrooms?
Yeah.
In the campgrounds?
So we have been working with Security Pros for this process. We actually have Sam here with Security Pros today as well. We have been collaborating on this process. There have been lots of moving parts in this. If I would like to invite Sam up if you would like to speak on this a little bit more about some of the technical solutions. I know that we have had some ordering situations in the procurement of the cradle point that is needed, that we've run into some bumps on the road with some of the subcontractors. But I will invite Sam up here to speak a little bit more on that.
Good evening. Very brief, I've shared a few details trying to order the wireless, basically internet for that bathroom at the campground. There's a pending invoice from Verizon, basically for the hardware. Basically, we just need to get a purchase order or a credit card from Prairie Creek directly to get that purchased. And the alternative is to have us basically purchase it and bill that separately to get it done quicker. It's kind of a month-old invoice we've got. I can reshare if needed, if a purchase order, basically through Verizon for that hardware to get delivered.
Is the project going to be ready to go for this 2026 camping season?
Correct.
Okay.
We're kind of half installed. We basically put locksmith work on the doors already. We don't like to install the remainder of it till the internet's there because it's kind of a not ready to use basically, or train everyone how to use that system. But the very last step is getting that cradle point ordered, and there is an invoice ready for that.
Okay. All right, thanks, Sam.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sam.
Would you like me to try and bill that separately? It's kind of a confusion with Verizon specifically. Getting a purchase order or credit card is the easiest way, but typically we don't directly order them. We can kind of make a compromise for this scenario if it's fastest. I can update Misty more later on.
We can probably talk to Misty and figure out what the best plan is there.
I can do that. Yeah, very last step, just getting internet.
Yep.
Yep. Thank you.
Do you want to talk about the appeals process and all that?
Yeah. Misty, did you have anything else? You got any events? I guess Carl or Nikki, did you guys have events either? We did not. Okay.
So we have one event application today, and this is from Ashley Hunter, who's actually here. I would like to ask her for some more details on this if she would like to share. This was not an event application that landed on my desk, and so I don't have the further information. So I would like to invite her up here to share a little bit more about her event.
Hello, thanks for having me. My name's Ashley Hunter. My husband and I adventure race. Have any of you guys heard of adventure racing before? So basically, you go out in the woods for however many hours, try to find flags. You're on foot, on mountain bike, and then on canoes. Prairie Creek actually hosted one of these back in 2021 in October. So it's been done before. We live here in Muncie. We love to do this. We've taken our kids on a few adventure races and want to do a 4-hour event in the fall of next year. So I had sent in my application for September 27th. That's a Sunday. We're really wanting to encourage families with younger kids to be able to use the mountain biking trails, you know, be out on the water in canoes, and then whatever portion of the park that is allowed to have foot traffic, we'd like to, you know, have everybody see as much of the park as they can with the limitations of however old their child will allow them to go in 4 hours, basically. Depends on the kid. It's not exclusive just to people with children, you know, adults could enter, but really wanting to encourage people to get out, enjoy the outdoors. In the application, I'm sure Misty will be looking for it. Sorry, there's feedback here. There's a question about liability insurance. We do have an insurer, but they won't provide the certificate of insurance any sooner than 6 months in advance of the event. My main goal tonight is just to kind of get the date secured. So if we can even get like a preliminary okay on that, I would feel a lot better about trying to plan this event for September. We definitely will have liability insurance. It's $1 million per occurrence and $4 million aggregate. There were some questions about security. Not sure how many participants we'll have. We'd love to have, you know, at least 50. I don't think we're going to have a lot of spectators because if you know anything about adventure racing, people are all over the place, and there's not really a place to stand and try to watch how a team is doing. The liability insurance is through the United States Adventure Racing Association. They have a pretty good policy. I think most of the time any of these races take place, they use that policy. Trying to think if you guys had other questions. I was trying to hit the highlights. Oh, I will say one part of the race that we were thinking about and really I would love to do is a little bit of trash pickup along the way, like probably give a Oscar the Grouch award to whoever can accumulate the most trash along the way as part of the race. So, anything else you can think of?
Any questions for Ashley?
September 27th, we were probably going to start the race like 1 o'clock, so to go 1 to 5, but we would need time for setup and tear down. We won't have a lot of equipment. We'll have to get canoes in. And then usually we set flags. We need time to set flags throughout the park. You know, beforehand, we'd probably be doing that the day or two before.
Any other questions for Ashley?
Where will your hub be?
So there'll probably be a few hubs. Take off from the beach on the canoes. And then the way adventure races usually go is you look at the map and you try to figure out, okay, hey, how do I get to the next thing? And then for the bikes, we've talked about up at the bike trailhead. Not 100% sure if all the bikes would fit there. There's also that area that's a parking area close to, well, I don't know how to describe it, but it's like the most northern part of where the bike trails start. That was a consideration. I know the people who live right across from it. I've also considered like asking them, hey, can we have people park bikes there? So we're still kind of going through some of those logistics. I had whenever we look at the map of the park, I know the ATV and the horse trails are closed. I'm really bummed about that. I don't know if that's still going to be that way in the fall of 2026, but that would also be a place that if it opens, it would be nice to be able to have foot traffic there from the race. So I'll stay tuned on that piece, I guess. But
Any other questions for Ashley?
Do you have any vendors?
we are not planning on having like any food vendors or anything like that. We probably have some snacks and drinks that we provide as part of the race, but no other vendors.
Misty, do we have any other conflicts on that date at this time?
At this time, I am not sure. I know there's the Rugal Triathlon at some time
In September?
near the end of the month as well. I don't have that date off the top of my head. I believe that that was an event that was approved.
Yeah, I know, I think that was,
May,
I think they had two that we approved.
May 17th and May 27th.
Okay.
I believe it may have been a September date though as well. I don't have that on me at this time.
I didn't bring that notebook either. Okay.
Yeah, if the 27th is already spoken for, I think we probably should be able to go with the, like, September 20th, but I mean, you know, like,
Yeah.
I guess to be continued on that piece.
Yeah.
There was, I don't know if this is the past. That Jeep Club was September 27th. I guess that was last,
That was last year.
2025, yeah.
All right, so we'll double check the dates there. You're aware, obviously, I think everybody is, of the ATV and the horse closings. That's something we can reach out to the water company to see if we're going to allow any foot traffic or what the options are, if there's special event approvals. Also got the Red Tail Conservancy and the Cardinal Greenway there, so I don't know if you planned on or looked at using those areas as well that are adjacent.
So would those require an extra, so the red tail, I doubt the red tail would want us tromping through there. I don't know how.
Yeah.
I know there's a way to go around. As far as the Cardinal Greenway, if we were thinking about having racers on the Cardinal Greenway, would we need to get their approval through another meeting?
They've got a separate board. I don't know what their approval process looks like, but yeah, I would reach out to them. The other one that I know we do on the triathlons, the Sail Club has always been really helpful in helping manage some of the safety on the water. I know we've got a representative here. It'd be great to meet with him and talk if they'd want to be interested in having Jason here with the trash too.
Yeah.
I think he'd
Whoever
Might
wants to
help you
race
guys.
too. Anybody want to race? Bring your kids. I actually did reach out to somebody at the Indiana Michigan Water, and I said, "Hey, what are the thoughts on foot traffic?" And he replied back, "I asked my supervisor. It's under the purview of Muncie Parks and Rec." So maybe eventually that will get sorted out as far as with you guys. So, but we have some time. I just want to throw that out there. That'd be great if foot traffic could be allowed.
Well, I think at this time, we can probably conceptually approve the event. It sounds like you've got the pieces in order. If there's a date conflict, we can adjust as necessary. Any other questions? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve the event for September 27th, Adventure Race.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you, guys.
Misty, did you have anything else? No. I do want to give a kudos to the guys that are out there working in the docks. I went out yesterday, saw those guys working. They're working late hours in cold water and really doing a good job getting that stuff out of there. So I really appreciate that team. Not only the team at Prairie Creek, but the team that Carl has dispatched out there as well. They're doing good work. Friends of Prairie Creek, I don't see Madam President. I see a few members. Any update? She did reach out to me, said they're still working on some details for the potential Christmas party. I think tentatively a date of December 20th, but details still pending there. I assume they'll work with Misty on that. Old business, we got a couple items. One that I forgot to get added to the agenda here is the multi-use trail. Talked about that a couple different times. David had provided some additional information to the team this last week, and he's here to present and answer any questions.
Good evening, Board. David Heilman, Flatland Resources. Brett, I had emailed you a couple of attachments. I don't know if the rest of the, did you get those? to the rest
I
of the
sent them
board?
to the rest of the board,
Okay,
yes, as
perfect.
well.
Good. So, per our last conversation, I believe what I was tasked with doing was, one, providing a letter of support or financial commitment from the mayor, the city of Muncie, for the project. In the original grant application, there was a financial commitment letter provided by the mayor. It was actually written for a total of $97,000. Since then, we have found, as I spoke about in our last meeting, Ball Brothers Foundation money. We helped write a grant. They provided some matching funds for this project, as well as the in-kind opportunity where a borrow pit would be utilized on Prairie Creek Reservoir property to save in hauling costs necessary for the material, some of the material needed for the trail. And that's why now that number, that match, or the commitment that the city needs to provide is now less than $20,000. So I spoke with the mayor. He felt like this letter was still enough to show his support and commitment for the project financially. So I guess, is there any questions about that?
The other item we had was some more details on the bridge crossing.
That's correct.
I think your email summarized that pretty well, covered that as well. Maybe not the best solution, but I think gives us a path to look for other sources and continue in the future to improve that multi-use trail around the reservoir.
That's correct. Yep.
Any other questions from the board? None? If not, I would entertain a motion to approve the multi-use trail moving forward to get those.
So
So
moved.
moved. Second?
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
4-1. All right. Thank you, David.
Thank you. I have a couple other updates. for
Yes.
you, if that's okay. One, as Carl mentioned, we did receive the construction and the floodway permit for the basketball courts at Westside Park. There were no special conditions within that permit. Again, James, as you questioned, this will be a full replacement of the stone base and the surface itself. As Carl says, and I'm sure you guys have seen, those courts hold water, and resurfacing it won't stand up. So Carl and the mayor had the right idea. Or whoever else was a part of those conversations, that those need to be rebuilt for longevity's sake and for them to be able to utilize in the fullest capacity. So it's good. And then
How long is that permit good for?
it's good for 2 years,
years,
and then you can get a 1-year extension. So
Yeah.
they technically have 3 years to do the project.
And are those two courts?
There are 2 full courts plus that kind of side court, which is a full court too, but it's not part of the.
And we're going to redo all of
That's
those
correct.
3 courts?
Mhm.
Okay.
Unless the city chooses otherwise, or Carl chooses otherwise. The plan is to, at least what we submitted a permit for was to cover all 3. So
Will it be all basketball, or will it be basketball and pickleball?
that's for the city to do.
I think that's something we're working through with proposals and what
Okay.
Carl's working on.
Okay.
But the main thing was getting the permit. And did I hear you correctly? They already approved the
They already
permit?
approved the permit.
That was
so-
Great.
speedy. Wow.
Yep. Yeah, it
Once.
was incredibly quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this will handle all of the plumbing issues around it. We will no longer, how are you going to
It'll be regraded.
Regraded.
And we can regrade it so that it just, there's a surface. We'll slope it properly so it surface sheds off to the edges and then down the hill to the river. So,
So it's just an elevation relocation, right? Same place?
Right.
Just
And-
lifting and regrading?
Yep, and it'll be minimal change in the grading.
Okay.
And then the other project I wanted to update you on, it's been a while since I've talked about it, but a couple years ago or a year ago, the MLK Dream Team got a grant from the Ziegler Foundation to make some improvements. Their kind of walk of fame in Heacon Park. We went through the process, signed it, an MOU. with the city of Muncie so that they could use their funding for these improvements to install kind of a gathering space along the trail, and then to install a sign, like a park sign out near Memorial Avenue, just to help invite people in and to let them know that the Walk of Fame is there, because it's kind of hard to see from the road. So the gathering space is in, looks great. We will be installing some benches, and I've been working with Ed and Susan Fisher with the Muncie Public Libraries on location of those benches on the gathering space pad. And then the sign, we're working with Carl on getting that installed next year. Ace Signs will be doing that. The Ziegler Foundation is interested in more projects, or another project related to the MLK Dream Team Walk of Fame and that gathering space. So we will be working with the Dream Team to come up with a potential grant request to improve that space even more. So they're really happy with what they've been able to accomplish to date, and are looking to further enhance that space. So their grant round is early next year, so if anything, as soon as anything would happen would be late 26, early 27, but yeah.
What type of material are the benches?
They're metal.
Okay, so they're year-round?
They're year-round, that's
Okay.
correct. Yep. They're standard park bench, nothing too fancy about them.
Okay.
So.
Thanks, David. Any other questions for David? Thank you, sir.
Yep, thank you.
Maybe we should write them a thank you letter.
Probably, yeah.
I can do that.
The other item we have in old business is meetings with the water company. We actually did have another meeting this week that was hosted at Prairie Creek. Water company and their team came up. Mark and myself were board representation at that. Very positive meeting. The water company was very impressed and enlightened on what was going on at Prairie Creek, the facilities that we've got, the work we've done. Several of them had not been there, so didn't understand fully, and really a walk and see out there. Misty and the team did a good job hosting them. Facilities looked excellent, clean, welcoming, and prepared for them. This meeting, excuse me, was specifically about boating and the water. The first meeting, as I mentioned, was about campgrounds. The third meeting will be focusing on building the stewardship committee and where that moves forward to get additional community engagement and building some visioning for Prairie Creek. A lot of conversation on water, boat usage, water quality, docks, ramp access, a lot of details there. One of the pieces that I pulled out of it was that at this time they don't see any changes in their requirements for the number of boats out there, no more, no less. So that's currently the intention that we're going down. They haven't formalized that in a proposal yet, but that's all the conversations we had, that it looked positive. Still evaluating the water usage and some of the things that have been brought up and talked about here, types of boats, speeds, things of that nature. The other thing that they are wanting to work with us on is some boater education around idle zone, no wake areas, specifically near the shore where you've got an opportunity to stir up the low water, the subsurface in the lake. Looking at some different options there that they're wanting to support and wanting to help us with. Overall positive meeting. I think we're starting to build a good relationship there. Not that it was bad before, but it just wasn't before. So there's a lot more communication than there has ever been with the water company, and they're starting to realize all the work we're doing and wanting to partner with us to continue to improve Prairie Creek.
Were there any meeting minutes or anything
The
formalized?
meeting was actually just last night, so I don't think anybody's formalized some minutes. I've got some of my personal notes, and I'll share those with the board. But outside of that, I don't know if they'll publish or have any official minutes there, so.
No official action was taken?
Yeah, we had no
At all.
official action, no,
More of an exchange of information?
a lot of education on both sides, understanding what they're looking at and what we experience and what we're dealing with as well. So, they were complimentary of the floating docks. Really like to see that, to get away from the shore exposure and foot traffic and boat traffic in those shallow waters, helps push that out some. We're excited to see us continue to do those. So. Jim?
Where are we at with the new dump station?
So that is still in the works. Adam and his team, the sanitary district, is working on designing that. They have still been vague on the requirements. They require it to be adequate for the number of campsites that we have. So they've not said 50, they've not said 500. So there's not been a defined answer there. Adam's still working on options. They did talk about, is there a short-term or an interim to allow us into the 26 season and what that looks like. But I think that will probably be more defined by the third meeting.
Can I make a motion that we move forward with trying to figure out the cost of the capacity where we're at now?
Yeah, so I had some preliminary numbers from Adam, and if current number of campsites, it was about $100,000 for the install of the dump station and the tanks associated with that. And if it was, I mean, you can run the math, it's less if there's less, but the dump station itself, which would be where the campers can pull up, have it graded, have proper washout, meet all the current codes. Just the dump station itself was about 20,000, and then the additional 80 is for the tanks and the install and the pieces associated with the tanks.
Can we form a committee to start working on trying to find funding for this? Or is that already being done, or?
I don't know that that's been done yet. I think that's something we could probably start to look at and how we vision, and some of this ties into our 5-year plan, how what we're gonna include for the vision of Prairie Creek into the 5-year plan, I think is a good place for that to go.
Because 2026 is gonna jump on us pretty quick.
It's coming, yep, so.
So, I mean, I think we need to be very proactive with this.
I think we can definitely put that on the agenda for next month. So if the individuals here can look at a committee, maybe a visioning team for Prairie Creek, not only for the campsite, but also just for the general 5-year plan, because that's upon us quickly too, is the 5-year plan. So we want to make sure we incorporate that. So,
Well, I'd like to nominate Mike Foster to sit on this committee when we organize it. Yes,
okay.
yes.
We'll,
Not Christie, Mike.
I think we'll, let's try to get some ideas together how that's gonna work and what that looks like. Certainly want to include Sail Club if they're interested, Friends of Prairie Creek. It'd be great if we could have some fishermen on there, because I know that's been a topic that I certainly don't
I
have
think the campsite is
Yeah.
should be primary, because it's affecting them. That doesn't affect the sailboat.
Well,
something like that.
I think we could roll this into a visioning for Prairie Creek as a whole, is where I think our committee should go. But have a heavy representation from the campground and the members that are relevant,
Okay, well, because I was just talking the septic.
just for the septic.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because the stewardship committee is going to be for the entire
Yeah,
park, right?
yeah, so maybe that overlaps a little bit. Okay.
Okay, then maybe call it a subcommittee?
Yeah. Okay. We'll get that on the agenda for next month, and we can try to formalize that and figure out what that looks like.
I guess I'll talk to Mike after.
With this With this in mind, with this type of process, are we looking at a city sanitation truck still coming out to the dump site and filling it up and then bringing it back to sanitation?
Currently,
Here in
that's,
Muncie?
that's the
Yeah.
preferred method of the American Water Company.
Okay.
There's some other opinions that would be different solutions, but right now, that's still their preferred method of
Well,
waste
we're probably
management.
talking 100,000 versus million, right?
No, well, if we piped it, it would be millions of dollars.
Okay.
But if you had a mound system or another on-site treatment, septic tank facility, it would be in that 100,000 as well, but it would reduce the trip fee, the transport fee, some of those other costs that are indirect costs to us. Currently, the sanitation department does that for us and covers it.
I think we would have trouble getting a mound system approved inside the ring road.
There, depending on what area the water company would allow us to use, there is real estate out there, so towards the northeast. There's additional farm ground that they've abandoned as farm ground, that there's area out there that meets the state requirements for a mound system. So, not sure if everybody, there's actually already 2 mound systems out there. So the bathhouse is on a mound system, and the beach house is on a mound system already. So those are functioning, those are operating systems. And then the office has a different treatment, waste treatment as well. It's not a mound system, but it's not a traditional septic either. So there's 3 septic systems and the RV tank system out there already.
But we only have one in trouble, right?
Yes, there's been minor issues with the other systems, but they've been things that have been able to be addressed. Small connection leaks, pump issues, normal, what I would call normal maintenance of a septic system. But those have not been their concern or an issue. They do want to have us do some additional monitoring of those and provide them more communication on our ongoing maintenance of those. But no issues or concerns directly related to those at this time. Yeah, you can come on up.
I'm just curious, sorry, Christy Foster, the other half. You're talking about the septic system and it's based on numbers, but we don't know. So how are you going to have a plan if you don't know how many sites? What's your plan on that? Like,
That has been the challenge is, where they've worked so far is planning kind of current state. What I asked for from the Adam and the engineering team was current state, the 50 that were originally approved, and then somewhere in the middle. Like I said, so current state is that 100,000 number. In the middle is 50 to 75, and then the 50 that was originally approved was in the 25 to 50 range for costing.
okay.
So at least gives us a budget number, a place for what that would cost.
Well, that's why I say let's move with the current condition, try to make plans for that money.
Okay.
I mean, because you can always use less money.
Right.
Or
right.
you can use money anywhere else, so.
I think that's where we need to look.
See,
and
look,
see.
there's our nominee.
Yeah. Hey, Mike Foster. I like that plan, in the current model, the way, especially with a dowsing mound system, you cover. That's based on square footage, it's mound up. Probably what the office has is what they call the old dowsing system, which is, it pumps out into flat leach field, which is an old style. But my question being with that whole deal there is, on the number and 2 is, how are you guys going to stop these people from driving through your campground dumping in your system? We've secured the bathrooms down, but I was told, and I don't know, but somewhere on the website was free dumping. In other words, I'm in the area, might be something you guys look at, that we advertise as Prairie Creek as being a free dumping site. But nevertheless, I mean, it should be locked down for the campers. That would help you eliminate a small percentage of it, because if I know that Prairie Creek has a dump site and I'm driving back from Summit, on my way home, I could fly through there and dump it real quick. No one's monitoring that. So you'd have to find some type of monitoring system, which we used to have a lockdown lid. At one time, I think Jim, that we used to dump in, then they put the 4-inch pipe there, but that'd be something you guys might consider as
Look at, yeah, as a
Right.
new system.
trying to, when you get that new system, you don't want people dumping in there anymore than you have to, so.
Thank you.
Good idea.
Any other Prairie Creek related items from the board or the public?
Could we just highlight what we're doing with the appeals?
Yeah. So the appeal process, all those should have been submitted by this time. Misty and the team out there is putting those together. We've got our meeting scheduled for the 8th
Hey,
at 6. Did we decide a location for that?
Carl's office, wasn't
Yep,
it?
Carl, yep.
We got the break room. That's the one part of it, and then my office.
Okay. So, yep. So we'll have that at the central office. So as we build the appeals list, we'll get in contact with the individuals. I think I've had some individual conversations with the board here. I think we do want to allow for public comment during that of the leaseholder. So you can't bring in 8 witnesses or half dozen people, but, I mean, they can come, but we will talk with the leaseholder directly in regards to the appeal. And then, as I mentioned before, we cannot vote in that closed executive session. We will work through a process to assign the appeals a anonymous code, a number, a letter, however we decide to do that, and then we will vote on those in the December meeting. So that will protect the appeal individuals. We will, as long as you've submitted your appeal, if you've got additional documentation, you can either bring that to the meeting or still submit that to the Prairie Creek office. But all the appeals that you were gonna make need to have been submitted already. Any other questions or discussion on that?
Will we bring the appealees in one at a time? So so theirs is private?
That's my intention, yeah. So we'll have to structure that a little bit to see how we can roll those through and work through those appeals.
I would like the public comment of the appealees to be like 3 minutes
Yeah.
and just mimic our board meetings.
I think that's appropriate. I think most of these are gonna be pretty straightforward. I think each of us individually kind of have ideas about what we perceive individually. And it's really just an opportunity, if we've got any questions about the appeal that they've submitted or any details about the non-renewal notice, or if they've got any additional comments. So I don't expect it to be a long process, but I think it is good to make that known that we want to be respectful of our time and the other appealees.
And Misty, we know you're busy, but would it be feasible to receive the appeals letters in maybe a collated PDF, if it's not too big, or?
Yep.
And when will we receive them?
I believe we had discussed a couple days from now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and sent in that one large document to you.
I, by the end of the week, reasonable for you? Okay, we can target to have them by Friday then.
Thank you.
Yes.
So have you gotten notification that every single person that have they gotten it? I mean, because they weren't sent certified.
So we sent mail and we sent emails notifications that you were on the non-renewal list. I know there were some individuals that had worked through it. I know Jim had worked through some of the list as well. I've not heard anybody not receive it, but I've not personally checked. So.
Okay, I just want to check, because one of my complaints
That's what I've tried to make contact with,
with
as
people.
many as I can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other Prairie Creek business? No. Any other new business at this time from the board? Any,
Um,
oh,
One question, on our, we'll probably need to get started on a couple amendments for our Prairie Creek rules
yeah,
to adjust that so we don't get into quite a jam.
yep.
So, I mean, I don't know if we want that on the agenda for January. Next month's gonna be kinda, maybe present them, if anybody's got any next month. But definitely have them,
It sounds
By
like
January?
Misty, some of your team is working through some rules and adjustments as well. Okay. Let's put that on the January to review rules. And go through those, what your team has and what we've got, from this team as well. Yeah.
So was there a process with, you got the notifications of this is the violation? Did anybody, who investigated those violations? Like, I know that the State Board of Health came in and that was the big thing for violations, but did somebody investigate those violations, like to, thank you.
So that all came from the State Board of Health. So their official inspector, state certified, came out to do that inspection, and that's the report that we receive, and then it's essentially a pass-through at that point. In addition to those, we also looked at any criminal, any
Yeah.
other issues that were out there,
Yeah, that's
and those were
pretty
listed as non-renewals as well.
And then one more question. So the American Water Company gave you, they're fine with the amount of docks, but they wouldn't give you a number of campsites?
The
They would, the docks?
septic system has to be appropriate for the number of campsites
Gotcha.
we have.
Okay.
So it was, they didn't give us an answer, but
But they said
that's,
that
that's
has to
what it,
fit with that.
yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll shut up now.
So Misty, on the violations, I know, well, I talked to quite a few people that fixed immediately. Were those re-inspected then?
Not by myself, and to my knowledge, not by the inspector.
So that's another piece that the water company has asked us to do, is to structure, not only the state inspection, but to have an internal inspection to some degree at some frequency, which we've done, but it hasn't been a real formal process, and they're asking to that to be formalized and receive those reports as well.
Well, I think we need to get with like the camper association, and let's formalize, what's expected of them, how they hook their tanks, if you're allowed to leave your tank hooked open, what's the requirement so somebody doesn't get this violation?
Yep.
And then I know trash in the fire pits, I mean, I've told everybody we're just gonna have to, if you come out, if you're not there a week and you come out and you got trash in there, I guess we're just gonna have to submit reports to the office saying, because like over where I'm at, we're the walk-through for rentals for the weekends, for
Yep.
people to go to the water. So people walk through our sites and they just, because the rentals are the ones that don't care about the park. The full-timers care about the park.
Yep.
So,
So I know Misty and her team's been working on some procedural stuff out there, some SOPs, some daily operating procedures, some, so I think that will help once we establish some of these procedures that maybe were done, maybe weren't done, but haven't been formalized, through our turnover out there.
well, because if we can get our requirements, and it can kind of be self-policed by
Yeah.
everybody out there. Yes, please.
Yeah, you want, if you're gonna talk more than a few.
So, in addition to trying to get ahead of the curve when it comes to the boats and the vessel inspections and the boater education safety, the campsite health inspection reports, that's something that I'm working on for next year, is coming up with a document so that when a camper comes up and they are curious about, hey, I am not sure what to go through for this, this, and this to make sure that my site is in this order. I'm hoping to reach out to the gentleman at the health department, Steve, and work to see if we can create an internal document that can be released, kind of like a checklist of some sort, and ideally inform some of our utility team, have a couple of people trained in what to look out for as well. That way that there can be eyes from somebody on our property to go and give suggestions. That way there's some sort of internal check, and then this could be something that could be copied and put into the file of that camper as well. And it would also show like due diligence. If they come in, they can choose to have this done. That way they can kind of show this was done, this is the date that it was conducted on. It wouldn't be an official inspection per the health department, but it would at least be something to show that they had checked in with Prairie Creek Management to do what they thought was best as
Well,
well.
I think it would eliminate a lot of the issues we have going on right now.
Yeah, and I think a
Yeah.
lot of it's, some of the campers don't know. I mean, the state, we reference the state code, but unless you've read it, which is awful to read, you don't know what all the restrictions
Well,
are. So
because
if we
like,
can
I
make
mean, a simple
cheat
bucket
sheet-
sitting there with water in it that somebody washes takes down to their boat or
Right,
washes their boat off with or something like that, you can get rode up because you're causing
standing water,
mosquitoes.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
so-
So if we can make that a little easier to read and easier to interpret, I think would be a great checklist for the campsites.
Yeah, I just wanted to add that we had conversation about quality control checkpoints as it relates to everything that's been thrown at the staff. Her and I are both kind of new. We're just getting it started. But one thing we do know that there has not been quality control checkpoints that we can go through the files and see. And so give us time to get things in order. And I think everybody will be happy with the quality control that's being done and being audited by the campers and the staff. So that's what I'll say to that. And that way it's fair, it's consistent, and you can see that it's being documented that we're doing the quality control checks so that everybody feels that the process is fair.
Yeah, I would even add visuals to that. I would have
Yes.
photos.
Well, when you do your qualities, the visual is part of it.
A big piece of it.
Yeah, the visual is part of it, and then the process itself to eliminate the visual that you find. That's all part of that quality control checkpoint.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl.
Yep. And I did work in quality control for 5 years for Ball, so the campers can do an audit as well themselves and also put their visual on paper as well. So between the camper, the visual, and then our team, we should fix anything that falls into a violation.
Excellent. Thank you, Carl.
Thanks.
Well, I think it's gonna make it a friendlier park if we get all this out front.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's
Because there's 50 ways to hook your stuff up. Everybody's got a different way to do it. We
exactly.
could just come up with here's what we expect. Anything above and beyond is okay, but this is the minimum.
Excellent. Any other new business from the board? Any other action items or events for approval from the board or public? I see a name on there. I don't know if that's public comment.
No, it was Miss Hunter.
Okay. Any other public comment from the floor? Again, want to thank all of you for coming, sitting through these meetings. Appreciate the input, the support, the feedback. Really does make our job easier when we're getting feedback and understand what the requests are and what we can do to improve. No other comments? I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Meeting adjourned. Mics are still live, guys.
Okay. Hi, how are you? Glad to see you.
It's good to be here. It's been a minute.
I know, it's been a minute.
Hello. Doing all right.
Good.